The Price of Ambition. Main character, Lauren, 30 years old, a successful marketing executive. Husband, Daniel, 35 years old, a businessman who has always supported her dreams. Lover, Travis, a charismatic investor. Lauren had everything: a stable marriage, a loving husband, and a career on the rise. But when she met Travis at a high-profile business conference, her world started to shift. Unlike Daniel, who prioritized stability, Travis was bold, unpredictable, and adventurous. At first, it was just professional meetings, exchanging ideas and discussing investments. But soon, business dinners turned into stolen moments, and stolen moments turned into something far more dangerous. The thrill of secrecy and the excitement of something new blinded Lauren to the consequences. Daniel started noticing changes: late nights, distant conversations, and a phone she kept too close. He trusted her, but doubt crept in. One evening, he decided to surprise her at a restaurant, only to find her laughing, leaning in close to Travis. The truth hit him like a punch. What happens next? Will Lauren realize the cost of her choices before it's too late? Or will she lose the man who truly loved her? The Price of Ambition, Part 2. Daniel didn't confront Lauren that night. Instead, he watched from a distance, his heart pounding as he saw the way she smiled at Travis, the way she used to smile at him. A painful realization settled in: he was losing her, and she didn't even seem to notice. That night, when Lauren came home, Daniel pretended to be asleep. He heard her carefully placing her heels on the floor, the soft rustle of her dress as she undressed, and finally, the sound of her phone vibrating. He resisted the urge to check it. But doubt had already taken root. The breaking point. The next few weeks were a storm of suspicion and emotional distance. Daniel became colder, more reserved. Lauren, sensing the shift, accused him of being distant, unaware of how much he already knew. One evening, Daniel made a decision. He hired a private investigator. A week later, he received a file: photos of Lauren and Travis at a luxury hotel, intimate whispers at a rooftop bar, hands brushing against each other just a little too long. The truth was undeniable. That night, when Lauren walked in, Daniel was waiting at the dinner table, the envelope in front of him. "Sit," he said, his voice calm but firm. Lauren hesitated but obeyed, a nervous laugh escaping her lips. "You look so serious. What's going on?" Without a word, Daniel slid the photos toward her. Lauren's face drained of color as she flipped through them, her fingers trembling. "Is this business?" Daniel asked, his voice eerily calm. "Or is this the more you were looking for?" Tears welled in Lauren's eyes. "Daniel, He held up a hand. "Don't. I just want one thing. The truth." The aftermath. Lauren confessed. She tried to justify it. She loved Daniel but felt suffocated, like she was missing out on something bigger. Travis was excitement, a spark she thought she lost. Daniel let out a bitter laugh. "You had everything, Lauren. But you wanted more." Silence filled the room. "Pack your things," he finally said. "I deserve better than this." Lauren begged, pleaded, but Daniel had already made up his mind. As she walked out of the house they built together, she realized the real price of her ambition. She had chased excitement and lost the one person who truly loved her. And now, she was left with nothing but regret. Lauren stood at the doorway, her suitcase by her side. She wiped away a tear, but Daniel didn't move. He didn't try to stop her. The man who once loved her unconditionally was now looking at her like a stranger. As she walked out, the weight of her choices hit her harder than she expected. The thrill of Travis, the promises of something greater, they all felt meaningless now. She had destroyed something real for a fleeting moment of excitement. But life doesn't wait for regret. 1 year later, Daniel had moved on, sort of. He threw himself into work, traveled more, and tried to rebuild his life without Lauren. The pain wasn't as sharp as before, but some nights, when the house was too quiet, he found himself thinking about her. Then one evening, he got a message. "Lauren, I know I have no right to ask, But can we talk? Daniel stared at the screen. For a moment, he thought about ignoring it. But curiosity won. They met at a quiet cafe. Lauren looked different, thinner, tired. The confidence that once made her so magnetic was now dimmed by something else, regret. I made a mistake, she admitted, stirring her coffee. Travis was never serious about me. Once he got what he wanted, he moved on. I lost everything, Daniel. And she hesitated. I miss you. Daniel sighed, leaning back in his chair. I don't think you miss me, he said. I think you miss the life we built together. Tears welled in her eyes. Maybe. But I know I loved you. And if I could take it back, I would. Daniel studied her, searching for the woman he once knew. But something inside him had changed. You can't undo the past, Lauren, he said gently. And I can't be your safety net. She nodded, understanding. This wasn't a movie where love conquered all. This was real life. And in real life, some mistakes couldn't be undone. As they parted ways, Lauren knew this was her final goodbye. And Daniel? He walked away, knowing that sometimes, the best closure is moving forward. What do you think of this conclusion? Would you like a different take on it? The Price of Ambition, final chapter. Lauren sat across from Daniel, her fingers nervously gripping the edge of her coffee cup. The bustling cafe around them faded into the background as she searched his face for a sign of hope, something that told her there was still a chance. I miss you, Daniel, she whispered, her voice cracking. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Daniel exhaled slowly, looking at her with a mix of sadness and understanding. You didn't just lose me, Lauren, he said. You lost us, the trust, the love, the life we built together. She nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I know. And if I could take it all back, I would. For a moment, there was silence. Then, Daniel smiled, not a bitter smile, not resentful, but one filled with quiet acceptance. I forgave you a long time ago, he said. Not for you, but for me. I didn't want to carry that anger anymore. Lauren's heart clenched. Does that mean? It means I want you to be happy, he interrupted gently. But we can't go back. A tear rolled down her cheek, and she laughed softly, shaking her head. You were always the better person between us. Daniel chuckled. No, just the one who learned faster. They sat there for a moment, two people who once had everything, now just strangers with memories. Then, Lauren reached into her purse, pulled out a small envelope, and slid it across the table. What's this? Daniel asked. A letter, she said, standing up. For when you're ready. Without another word, she walked away. Daniel stared at the envelope for a long time before finally opening it. Inside was a simple note, written in the handwriting he once loved. If I could go back, I would choose you. Every time. He smiled, folded the paper, and placed it in his pocket. Then, without looking back, he walked into his future, one where he was finally free.